Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Today I have a somewhat special layout here for you. This was a challenge that was from the October Secret Not Secret Kit Club monthly online crop. And the challenge was to use as many 3x4 cards on your page as you could. So I pulled a whole bunch from my stash. Some are from Elle Studio, some are from, let's see here, I think there's some One Canoe 2 there. I'm actually not even sure where some of these are from. So I just have a large pile and I went ahead and went through them and pulled a bunch that I thought would work. And then I pulled a piece of cardstock that I wasn't going to use for anything else, and I used that to go ahead and adhere all of the 3x4 cards to. I don't use a ton of cardstock, so I don't mind wasting it on something like this. I don't actually consider it a waste because I'm probably not going to use it anyway. If I'm looking for yellow, I'll probably look for something with a small pattern on it that reads as a solid, but is probably not in fact a solid. So I went ahead and arranged these so that the colors would complement each other and create some balance. There is a turquoise one in the bottom left-hand corner, so I know I want one that's closer to the right, and that the yellow flowers on that one in the bottom corner, I want to carry that yellow across to the upper right. The ones with the nature on them, I want them so they're not all in one row. And then the pink, I want pink on each side. And then the green, I did those from top to bottom. So there's one in each row. Also, I wanted to have some of the neutrals kind of throughout. Some of my 3x4 cards were not exactly cut to 3x4, so I lined them up as best I could, and then I just cut a little bit off of the edges. And you'll see towards the end of the video, I'm going to back it all on black cardstock. You see me there auditioning the white cardstock, and that would have worked out well. But once I tried the black cardstock, I really liked it a lot better. It also kind of creates a little bit of a landing place for everything. Now I've stitched all of those seams with black thread using a zigzag stitch, which is another reason I chose to use the black cardstock to frame the entire layout. The photo that I'm documenting today is 4 generations, and that is my daughter as a baby, and then myself, my mom, and my grandmother. And I thought it was really fitting that I document that because my daughter at this point was expecting, and we have a 3-generation picture of her at her baby shower. Actually, it's 4 generations, but the baby's still inside of her. Anyway, while I'm doing this voiceover, she has already had her baby. She has a little boy. And so anyway, I thought this was a great one to go ahead and start documenting some of these older photos as well and get the story down into the book. Now, I know I want to use a lot of green leafy type embellishments, so I've pulled out a bunch of my small dies that are different leaves and different foliage, and I've pulled a bunch of green and yellow and even a little bit of brownish yellow, kind of more of a mustardy color. I've pulled those out of my scrap bin, and I went ahead and used my Sidekick to go ahead and cut those. I cut a bunch of hearts as well in different pinks and turquoises. Let's see, one of those hearts has a small grid pattern on it, and the other one is a bit of a very variegated pink. So, like I said, I don't use a lot of solid color anything actually. So I like things that read as a solid but are not completely solid. And so this layout is going to be pretty colorful, but I think once it's backed on the black and with the black mat around the frame, it kind of tones it all down and grounds the whole thing, especially with the stitching that I've done in black as well. So I know I want to make a visual triangle around my photo, and I do that by starting with the hearts that will eventually be layered up onto some foam tape. And I used my tiny attacher to attach the small heart to the large heart to provide a little bit of texture and just some visual interest. This layout does have a lot going on, but I don't use my tiny attacher that often, and I thought with the stitching it would just be kind of like a nice touch, showing some different ways of attaching things together. And you can see there that I have used some ink, and I'm using just the black soot distress ink just to kind of provide some depth to the leaves and the hearts so that they pop off the page a little bit. Since everything else is outlined with that black stitching, I thought it would be appropriate to go ahead and use the ink to go ahead and give a little depth to those things. Well, there's not a ton of ink on my ink pad, and so You don't see a lot of it on the leaves, and it's not on every single leaf. It just gives it a little bit of depth, like I said. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. The photo was taken on Thanksgiving many years ago, probably 1995, because that's my daughter was born that year. And while these are not really fall colors, I did think the acorn and the leaves and such kind of bring a fall effect to it, even though I've got turquoise and pink. Uh, I don't know. I like how it looks. It doesn't bother me at all. I think it looks it looks like fun, and it's colorful and it's pretty. And I don't think you have to use fall colors on every fall layout that you do, but I wanted to make sure I had some leaves in some fall colors, and that's why I went with some of the olive green and some of the mustard colored leaves to kind of just circle back around to that fall effect. Now that's an old Simple Stories 4x4 card I'm cutting up there, and I think it says "So Happy Together." I'm going to layer those words up on the bottom heart cluster, and then I will have some additional words that I'm going to layer up on the other two heart areas. I apologize for my phone dinging in the background. One of the other considerations that I made when I was laying out where each of the 3x4 cards were going to go was where the journaling would be. And I wanted to have enough room for some bits and pieces and some details, but I didn't want them all in one spot. I wanted to actually create a visual triangle, much like I am with the embellishment clusters. I wanted a visual triangle of the journaling as well. So there will be some journaling on the upper right and upper left hand corners, and in the bottom on the card that's next to the one with the yellow flowers, I will put some journaling there. The one just to the left of the photo is going to have the title, which is just going to read 4 Generations. And the stickers that you see off to the right hand side in the yellow stickers, those are what I'm going to use for the word 4. And then on that same sticker sheet, that's a Simple Stories sticker sheet, there are some the little tiny tile stickers, and that is what I'm going to create the word generations out of. And you'll see that later on in the video. I'm just using the Tonic Deluxe, actually I think Tonic makes it, but it's Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. And I really love this glue. I love the bottle that it comes in. It's very fine, very similar to my fine line applicator. And so I really enjoy it. It sticks well and it comes out nice and smooth. Highly recommend it. The word stickers, I am popping those up on some foam tape because there's some dimension underneath the hearts, and usually I would just use fun foam, but I didn't have that handy, so I'm just using the a big roll from 3M or Scotch, and that works just as well. So it's a little bit more expensive, but that's what I had handy at the time. So that's what I went with. In order to go ahead and get my title centered, I find the center letter of the word generations and put that letter down first in the center of where I want my title located, and then build out from there. That's a really old little trick on centering your titles, and it works great, and so I use that frequently. Another tip is to use a centering ruler, which I do have, although for this purpose I didn't need to use it for that. I typically use that for much larger titles. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my journaling. And the one in the upper left-hand side says the best things in life are family, being together, holidays spent with each other, and new babies. The one at the very bottom just says Thanksgiving 1995 was spent at Great Auntie Della's house in Murphys, California. And then the one in the upper right-hand side just lists out Great Grandma Lauren, my mom, and my daughter. With the journaling complete, I decided to use my Muji pen to outline the hearts and some of the word phrases. I received that pen as part of the swag bag from the Secret Not Secret Kit Club Summer Retreat, and I absolutely love it. I also found out that we have a Muji pen store, or a Muji store, in my area, so I went ahead and bought a few more. I have a navy blue one, and then I've got them in a couple of different thicknesses, and they are very smooth. They write really well. I 100% recommend them. In fact, I bought them for several of my friends for Christmas. Lastly, as a finishing touch, I decided to add some flat-backed gems to the layout, and I used my fine line applicator filled with crystal lacquer to go ahead and adhere those down, and the fine line applicator works really well with the crystal lacquer in it, as long as you close it right away. You don't leave it open because it will clog up pretty quickly if you do. My apologies for the glare on the screen there. I didn't realize the shade got opened a little bit in my craft area, and it is providing a nice glare for you all to enjoy. I hope it's not interfering too much with the actual process, and that you're still able to see everything. I am almost done with this layout, and if you've enjoyed it, I hope that you will go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. I thank you so much for your time. Happy New Year. I am hoping to get back to being more regular on my channel than I have been in the last month or two. That is simply because with the holidays and my grandson being born, and my niece had her little baby girl 5 weeks early, so she was born exactly 1 week before Christmas on my husband's birthday. Things have been just a little bit crazy around here. So thank you again for your time, and thanks for sticking with me through all of this. Stick around for the close-ups. They're coming up in just a few moments, and I hope you have a wonderful new year, and I will see you next time.